Love this franchise as we all clearly do. I gotta tell you, the timelines can get a little bit confusing. And I'm not going to break those down for you here today because there's plenty of videos on the internet that you can go to figure out what movie matches with what movie. But this one here confused me when I heard about it's being released. So we're only a sequel to the first film, just the first one. Okay, I can get behind that, no problem. We're calling ourselves what? Halloween. Just Halloween. Okay, all right, well, listen, we're getting Jamie Lee Curtis back. We're getting Michael Myers back. We're getting a mask that we can be proud of back. I mean, what more could possibly go wrong? And this here, on our countdown, the second best Halloween film in the entire 13 film franchise thus far. 2018's Halloween is that which we speak of. And let's go ahead and talk about it right now. Was I the only one that was hoping for a little bit of Kenny Powers in this movie? I mean, I would have taken some Kenny Powers. Danny McBride was attached to it, and my mind works in weird ways. That's one of the first things I thought of. But we didn't get Kenny Powers. What we got was an abrupt opening at Smith's Grove with a pair of podcasters that have somehow been granted an opportunity to try to speak with notorious serial killer Michael Audrey Myers. We also meet Dr. Sartain, who is the doctor now in charge of Mr. Myers. The podcasters are Aaron and Dana, who appear to be a couple. And Aaron tries he goes out to this giant checkerboard that these psychotic individuals are kind of separated on. And he tries to have a conversation with Michael, and Michael stonewalls him. Then Aaron reaches into his Indiana Jones satchel and pulls the mask that he committed all of those crimes in all of those years ago, pulls it out. Michael has a clear reaction to it. The other people in the funny farm lose their mind over it. Still doesn't say a word, but this lands us emphatically at the title card for this movie. Theme is back, and I thought what was really cool is the entire opening just felt different. You know, that cold open in Smith's Grove was great because we didn't get as much Smith's Grove as I think we should have gotten in this franchise, but we see a collapsed pumpkin as we roll through the opening credits. It starts to slowly sort of reform. And I dug that. I really thought that was a good way of saying without saying that they're going to start putting the pieces back together of this franchise. No offense, Rob Zombie, but you left it in kind of a weird spot. You know, aside from the ambition that came with these podcasters, hoping that they would be the ones to get Michael's first words from him, they're also documenting the significance of the impending transfer that Michael is about to go through, going from Smith's Grove to a much more maximum security facility. I don't know why they're going to transfer this guy so close to Halloween. It's like they learn nothing or they have no common sense. But that is the game plan for this film. Speaking of podcasters, they are now, having been stonewalled by Mike, they are now on the way to speak with his better half, that being Laurie Strode. And they beg the question, did one monster create another? And I thought that was actually a really poignant question because Laurie, when we see her, initially she turns them down for an interview. They show up to her compound, and yes, she has a compound, and she has a squawk box at her front gate. She says no. They offer her $3,000, and Aaron comes off a little bit smug here, but Aaron also plays a Lannister in Game of Thrones, so that's just his thing. Dana brings up the fact that her daughter got taken away from her, and at that point, Laurie shows them the door. That's when we roll right into the character intros for the new Michael Myers fodder. We get Karen and her husband Ray and their daughter Allison, who is also Laurie's granddaughter. Great looking family here, and just by seeing how different they live than Laurie does, you can tell why there's some serious estrangement. They are a normal, run-of-the-mill American family. Laurie lives like Sarah Connor from Terminator, and I gotta tell you, if I'd have gone through what she went through, I'd probably be the exact same way. No questions asked. In a scene that can be viewed as a nod to the original, Allison is walking to school with her friends Vicky and Dave, who are also a couple. And this gives us a great opportunity for them to retcon that little bit of family drama that started back in Halloween 2 in 1981. They do away with the myth that Michael and Laurie are siblings. And I can't stress how much I liked the fact that they did that. It's forever scarier when there is no motive attached to it. When it's just a little boy that snapped one night And ever since that night, anything in his path gets stabbed, choked, or broken. That is the fear that is associated with Michael Myers. It's just far more unsettling when you don't know why he won't stop killing. We also wind up meeting Cameron, who's Allison's boyfriend, and he seems cool right away. I mean, they're very much into each other, and it's that cute little high school love. And then we meet the chubby sidekick that just tries a little too hard, in my opinion, to be Danny McBride. You know, he wants to be the comic relief in this movie, and it's not funny when it's that forced, buddy. Laurie Strode is well aware of the transfer that's coming up involving Michael Myers, and she is sitting outside of the facility with booze, with a hand cannon sitting in her lap, and then she just starts crying when she's sitting there seeing him, thinking about everything that happened to her all those Halloweens ago. And then surprise, surprise, wouldn't you just know it? Who would have guessed it? The transfer bus crashes, and all the patients wind up walking around the isolated road out in the country in the middle of the night. Now, there is a father and the son traveling, and I believe they're driving a Bronco or a Blazer. It's one of the two. They're having an honest conversation about dance class, and then they happen upon this mess. Now, the dad goes to investigate. Not a smart move, in my opinion. And then the boy ends up going to look for his dad once he doesn't come back right away. The boy ends up shooting Dr. Sartain, which I thought was fantastic because that doctor sucks anyways. But when he goes back to his father's truck, he's met by Michael Myers. And this is the scene that I knew this movie was going to be something entirely different. Because typically you don't see children killed. Or if they get killed, you don't see them killed. Like, it's off screen. Michael grabs this kid by the throat and chokes him until he's gone. And you actually almost hear like the cracking. And it's really... that shocked the shit out of me. I did not expect to see that. Stretching those old, weary legs of his, Michael heads to Judith's gravesite for a quick visit before he gets back to his Halloween ways. And this is where he runs back into the podcasters who are also visiting Judith. And you've got Aaron kneeling down by the grave, narrating into his recorder what happened that Halloween night while Michael looks on from afar. And this is of interest to Michael because they have something that he desperately wants back. So he follows them to a service station, which I felt like was a love letter to Halloween 4. If you know that service station scene from that movie, tremendous. So much of the good stuff from this part, though, really given away in the trailers. And that's why I'm not an advocate for trailers anymore. I used to run to them. I couldn't wait to see, and then you just get way too much because Michael Myers winds up walking into the bathroom while Dana's using a stall, and he reaches over the stall and drops a handful of bloody teeth onto the tile in front of her, and she screams bloody murder, tries to get away. Luckily, Aaron winds up making his way in there, sees Michael, has one of those holy shit moments, and to his credit, dives right in. Now, he doesn't do well. Aaron doesn't, this is a Lannister that can't fight, but he tries. And Dana, for whatever reason, while Michael and Aaron are struggling, she just stays stationary. And then Aaron has to wind up watching his girlfriend being choked to death by the now reinvigorated Shape. Goes to the truck, we get that super ceremonial type scene where he's putting the mask back on, slamming the truck shut, and then off he goes. Mask looks so good in this movie. They did an amazing job with the way this mask looks, appropriately aged. So once word gets out about the wreck, Laurie's blowing up phones and she's patrolling the streets looking for any hint of Mr. Michael Myers. Meanwhile, though, the Shape is out doing his Shape things. Gnarly shot. I mean, he bumps into a kid, and that's sort of like an ode to not only part 1 but part 2. He walks into a home, an open garage, grabs a hammer, walks into the house, winds up killing a lady that looks dressed exactly like Mrs. Elrod from part 2, stops at the crib of a crying baby in one of those scenes that just makes you hold your breath for a quick second. And then he walks away from it. Thank God, because you just saw him kill a kid. Who's to say he wasn't going to harm that baby? But he walks outside, looks around. There's people everywhere. So it's almost like a smorgasbord of a buffet. He's picking what he's going to do next. Walks to the next house next door, looks in the picture window at the woman inside. Then we see him walking along the side of the house through the windows. She comes to the window he was just at and looks out at the street because she's just gotten a call about the escape or the crashed bus. and then Michael walks in behind her, stabs her through the throat. Absolutely unreal. And this is Michael at his scariest. He's just moving forward, killing everything in his way. I mean, that's scary. That is horror. You don't have to know everything about it. And you sure as hell don't need to know if he's got a tattoo on his wrist and he's controlled by a bunch of weekend Satanists. Doesn't make sense to me. And as scary as this movie is, they did not hesitate to give you things to laugh at. And there's a great scene with Vicky babysitting a little badass foul-mouthed kid named Julian. It's funny, it's endearing, it makes you like the both of them. And this is all before they're dropped right in the path of the boogeyman. And yes, this is another one of those scenes that the trailer ruins. I mean, Vicky can't get the little boy's closet door shut, and it's because Michael is standing there like a lummox. And another thing about this that spoke to me about how much fun Michael was having in this movie was he took the pumpkin that Dave made for Vicky and brought over, and he dumped the pumpkin into this fish tank, and then he put Vicky in the chair next to the fish tank, put a sheet on her like she was a ghost, and gave her eyes on the sheet as if she was a ghost. The shape was living life like nobody was watching. He was just having a ball out there in Haddonfield. And it sucks, man. I was just really starting to like Vicky in this movie too, and I was appreciative that Julian got away from this madness. Laurie winds up shooting Michael Myers right in the shoulder not long after that scene, and then she meets the new Dr. Sertan for the very first time, and I believe it's probably the only time that I really think about it, but we get that line that makes me sick to this very day where she says, "So, you're the new Loomis." No, not even close, my lovely Jamie Lee. It is not even in the same ballpark. Some of the dialogue here can be clunky at times. I can't lie about that. The carnage is just great though. So we're going to overlook the bad dialogue here and there. Hawkins is intent on not only finding Michael, but putting him down for good, which is not an idea that's popular with the doctor that's riding shotgun with him per the sheriff's orders. Sartain is obsessed with seeing Michael in the wild. He keeps talking about how Loomis was the only one to be able to see Michael in the wild. He mentions this a couple of times, and he even has this plan by reuniting Michael and Laurie, he's somehow going to get Michael to speak. And it's this tool bag's fault that Michael winds up finding her in the first place. With Halloween returning to us in 2018, what did this new tale kill? What did they get right? And they killed literally everything in the path of the 60-year-old boogeyman in this movie. And that leads us to James Jude Courtney and how good and how goddamn scary he was in this role that he clearly had a blast playing. You know, aside from the scene where he house hops and life snatches and then what he did to that poor babysitter, we got the motion light kill in the backyard that I thought was so great where he aces the chubby sidekick. I mean, here we are, this kid, and they add a little levity to it because the kid is thinking that this is just the guy that owns the house in his backyard hanging out with a white mask on, right? So he asked this guy, have you ever wanted a girl that didn't want you back? Which is so ironic and funny to ask of somebody named Michael Myers, who that's his life story. I thought it was really good. Blumhouse got the character right. They got the mask right. Everything was on point. It was an A+. And in a horror movie, the killer is something you want to get right. And I think they did a great job here with Michael Myers. Loved the Strode women, all three generations. Laurie's psychosis makes so much sense and she plays it so well. Karen hyper-focused on her own daughter and ensuring that her daughter's upbringing is nothing like what she went through when she was a young girl. And then Allison's just a teenager who loves them both. And she can't come to grips with why Laurie can't let go of the boogeyman trauma that took over so many decades of her life. You know, and at the end where the climax is here and Michael's descended upon them. Great stuff because Laurie is still so protective of her daughter, calling her baby, telling her to hide, and then Karen fakes Michael out just to get a round off. I mean, great actresses played these parts, and they breathed life into them. They gave us this beautiful trilogy where each movie just focused on one of the Strode women, and I just thought it was beautifully done. I thought it was a real highlight of this movie. The compound that Laurie lives on is absolutely badass. And truthfully, if I'd have been through what she went through, I'd probably have something similar, some kind of setup I'd try anyways. Rambo-style arsenal hiding in the underground bunker beneath this kitchen, lockdown protocols for each and every room of the house, a system set to incinerate the whole place like that. I mean, that sounds like a nice piece of real estate to me, and she was really ready for Michael. And on top of that, it had to be nice for her to be able to put that crib to good use with everything that she probably poured into building it. As far as what killed this movie, though, I'm going to say not much. The doctor sucked, and I'm really glad we didn't get him in any of the follow-ups. Michael stomping his head in was basically us living vicariously through him, in my opinion. Him being evil and all that mess, you know, I just didn't get it. It was really dumb. And I get that. I understand that they had to come up with a way to get him from wherever he was to where Laurie is. I understand that was the plan of the movie, and that was what Sartain wanted to do. But did they have to put the mask on this midget? I mean, get the fuck out of here with that. That little gripe aside, that little complaint, this movie is still a 9 out of 10. I thought they hit a home run with giving us a follow-up. Now, forget about the confusing timelines. Let's just throw that out the window, because who cares? I thought they gave us a fantastic explanation of what happened to Laurie after the original, what Michael truly was, and they took us back to Haddonfield, and they gave us something to sink our teeth into. And on top of that, even though the ending was emphatic, we knew we had more coming. We didn't know how, but we knew there was a follow-up on the way. And you wanted that because you were getting Laurie back. You were getting more of the daughter and the granddaughter. And more importantly, you were getting Michael and Haddonfield. And that's all you need. That is all you need for a great, scary movie. And that's what we talk about here at Aging Gracefully. I am Matthew Essex. I appreciate you sitting in on this one. We've got the number one coming up. You can probably figure out which one that is. Check it out with me. Subscribe to the channel. Comment and let me know if you liked this as much as I did. And if you didn't like it, maybe tell me what I'm missing. Because for me, the doctor was the weak point of this movie. I didn't see any other flaws. I really didn't. But educate me, because I appreciate it when I get proven wrong or when I get something shown to me that I otherwise didn't catch the first time around. I will see you on the other side.